Morning 7th grade, welcome to week 9. This is day 1 and today is May 18th. So I just want to show you what you are responsible for today and explain the lesson to you a little bit further. So you're going to click on your classwork tab. You'll notice that there is an agenda for this week. If you want to click on it, you can get a better feel for what you're going to be expected to do for the entire week. I do want to let you know that you have an evidence planned for Thursday, and that'll be on the angles that we've covered last week and this week. So it'll be on the different types of angles, complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles, which is what we're doing today. So you'll scroll down, you'll see week 9. Here's your lesson. Here's the steps that we are going to use in the lesson, so I just put them there for support. There's also a link here that I feel may be helpful. It also shows you what I'm going to model, so just maybe another support if needed. You guys can click on that and check it out. It's only 2 minutes, so very quick. And then here's your lesson. So I'm just going to use the bigger version so that you guys can see a little better. Okay, so you have your warm-up. Both of them are showing 2 different sets of angles, right? This would be our complementary pair of angles because they're sitting in a right angle, and this would be our supplementary set of angles because they're sitting in a straight angle. So for number 1, I would write the equation and make it equal 90 degrees, and for number 2, we would write our equation and make it equal 180. When you go to the next slide, you'll see the work that should have been done to figure out those values. Most of you were figuring this out pretty well, so I was very impressed. Keep it up, keep up the good work. And if anyone was still struggling, I hope that this warm-up kind of just reminds you what you would have to do to get those answers. Okay, so today we're going to look at intersecting lines because when we have intersecting lines, they cross each other at exactly one point, a common vertex, and they form special type of angles. These special type of angles are called vertical angles. So vertical angles are going to be angles that are opposite each other, and they are also congruent or equal to one another. So when the angles are across from one another, they're going to be equal in measure. And I'm just trying to see if there's any other vocabulary. Oh, non-adjacent. So I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but adjacent means next to. So vertical angles are non-adjacent because they are not next to each other. They lie opposite. Okay, so I made this picture here just to show you as well. So A would be vertical to C because they're opposite each other. They're also non-adjacent. Adjacent would be next to. So like A would be adjacent to B. But in order to be vertical, you have to be opposite each other. So I color-coded them too. A and C would be vertical, and then B and D would be vertical to each other. Now, since they are vertical, they also are equal in measure. So if I made angle D, let's say 115 degrees, right? What other angle would be 115 degrees? The other angle that would be 115 would be B because they are vertical to each other. Vertical means opposite one another. Okay, so angle D equals angle B. So if angle D is 115, then angle B would also be 115. Okay, got it? And then if I told you that angle A, let's say, was 65 degrees, right? Then you guys should know what other angle is 65 degrees. The angle that is opposite it, which would be C. So C would also be 65 degrees, okay? So we would say angle A is equal to angle C. So if angle A equals 65 degrees, then angle C also equals 65 degrees. Okay, that's pretty much all vertical angles are. So as long as you can remember that they're opposite, that's everything you would need to know so far about them. Okay, you do a couple more practices. These are just some more visuals for you guys to see vertical angles again. So here in this picture, right, we're given 2 angle measures. I'm going to do it on my board just so that it's a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, I'm going to erase this. just fix our lines here. So we're given 106 degrees here, and we're given 74 degrees here. Put our letters on so we can identify our angles. And S. Okay, so right now we have our two angles. They gave us 106 and 74. Now these two angles are not vertical to each other because they're not opposite one another, right? They're next to each other, so they're not vertical. Vertical to 106 or vertical to angle TQP would be this angle over here, which would be SQR. So if SQR is vertical to PQT, then this angle we can say would also be 106 degrees. See how they're opposite each other, right? Okay, you'll see a lot of times the vertical angles are noted like that. And then now this angle, 74 degrees, I'll use a different color. Okay, we can call that angle PQR. PQR would be vertical to the angle opposite it, which would be TQS. So I'll make a red circle, right? And now I know that this would also be 74 degrees. Okay, so notice how they're opposites, right? And when they're opposite each other, they're going to be congruent, or we use the word equals. Okay, there's a couple more for you to practice. Make sure you're being mindful of what the letters are, because that's telling you which angle you're answering about. And then your answers are on the other slide. Notice that I color coded them just to make it easier, and I feel like a little more visual for you to see which ones are paired up together. Now this is where things get just a slightly more challenging, but not really, because some of you might have already made this connection and you just can't talk to me about it, but some of you might have seen something interesting about these vertical angles. So let's see, we have this. I'm going to put the letters in that are on your screen. And then this was 76. Okay, so looking at this diagram, if we were given the angle 76, you guys should be able to tell me which angle is also equal to 76. And that angle would be angle Y, right? Because it's opposite the angle provided. So we would say angle Y equals 76. Now, there should be a way that we can figure out what X is. And there is a way we can figure that out, because 76, the angle that was provided, and X, these are supplementary angles. Why are they supplementary? Because they make a straight line. And we know that a straight angle is how many degrees? A straight angle is 180 degrees. So to figure out what X is, we would do 180 minus 76. So 180 minus 76, okay? And that's going to give us 104 degrees. So I now know that X is 104, right? And if I know that X is 104, then I know that the angle vertical to X would also be 104. So that angle that's vertical to X, opposite X, would be Z. So now this angle is 104. Okay, so we figured out now that X is 104. We figured out that Z is 104. And we know that Y was 76, right? So now what you can do as a quick check, just to make sure that these numbers are correct, if we put all these angles together, I'm just going to get my other color here. If we put them all together, watch what I form. I'm going to go from this angle all around, and putting them all together, I form a circle. And in a circle, we should all know that a circle is made up of 360 degrees, right? So if all four angles add to 360 degrees, I know I'm correct. That's like just an additional check you can always do to make sure you did your calculations correct. So we would do on the side, okay, 104, 104, 76, and 76. Add them up and make sure that they equal to 360 degrees, and they do, so I know I'm correct. Okay, So that was a lot to take in there, but I think you guys are getting it. So everything I just modeled is in the slide as well. Showing the 76, how can we solve for x? Those two angles would be supplementary, right? So we would take it and we would figure out what plus 76 is 180. We would do subtraction to figure that out and get the 104 that we just reviewed. And if x is 104, then we know that the angle opposite it, or vertical, would also be 104, right? So now we have our 4 angles figured out, and then your quick check is to make sure they add to 360 degrees. Okay, so there's our steps, basically what I just reviewed with you. There's also a link here. That's the link I mentioned earlier, so you can view that again if you need to. And then here's another example, right? So they're going to give you 97. You should be able to know automatically which angle is also 97 degrees. That's going to be the angle that's opposite it. So that angle would be TQS. And then to figure out these angles that are missing, right, we're going to then subtract it from 180, because this angle with this angle form a straight angle, and a straight angle is 180 degrees. So we can simply subtract to find out that that angle would be 83. And then if I know that this angle is 83, then the angle opposite it would also be 83. Okay, and then your quick check is to make sure that the 4 angles add to 360, which they do, so we know we're correct. Okay, I believe there's another one for you to try with the answers provided on the following slide, and then you have your exit ticket for the day. So I'll show you where that is just so that everyone's clear. Okay, so it's right here. You're going to click on your exit slip, and I just want to clarify one thing. Please make sure you're reading what the question wants you to find. So look at 1A. It says find the measure of angle 1 only. So in the picture there's 2 blanks, but I want you to only find the measure of angle 1. So that would be, okay, they're giving me angle 3 and 4. Right? So let's see. So 3 is 34 and 4 is 146. So I'm looking, okay, angle 1 is vertical or opposite angle 3. So whatever angle 3 is, that's going to be the measure of angle 1. Angle 3 is 34. So I would type in my answer 34. Okay? Going down to 1B, it's the same picture, but now they want you to find angle 2. Okay, see how it says it in capital letters? You're only looking for angle 2. So angle 2 is opposite or vertical angle 4. So whatever angle 4 is, that's going to be the measure that you would type in for your answer here. Okay, guys? All right, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Take care.